Muhammad ibn Abu Bakr or Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya was an Arab Islamic jurist, commentator on the Qur'an and theologian. Ibn al-Qayyim's scholarship was focused on the Islamic sciences of Hadith, Fiqh and Sufism. He has been called one of the most important thinkers in the Hanbali tradition, and Ibn Taymiyya's most passionate advocate. Name: Muhammad ibn Abu Bakr ibn Ayyub ibn Sa'd ibn Haris ibn Makki Zayd al-Din al-Zari al-Damashqi, with kunya of Abu Abdullah, called Shams al-Din. He is usually known as Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya, after his father Abu Bakr ibn Sa'd al-Zari, who was the superintendent of the Jawziyya Madrasa, the Hanbali Law College in Damascus. Biography. Teachers: Ibn al-Qayyim's main teacher was the scholar Ibn Taymiyya. Ibn Qayyim first met Ibn Taymiyya at the age of 21 and spent the rest of his life learning from him. As a result of this union, he shared his teacher's views in most issues. Imprisonment: Ibn al-Qayyim was imprisoned along with his teacher Ibn Taymiyya. According to the historian al-Makrzi, two reasons led to his arrest. The first was a sermon Ibn al-Qayyim had delivered in Jerusalem, in which he decried the visitation of holy graves, including the Prophet Muhammad's grave in Medina. The second was his agreement with Ibn Taymiyya's view on the matter of divorce, which contradicted the view of the majority of scholars in Damascus. The campaign to have Ibn al-Qayyim imprisoned was led by Shafi'i and Maliki scholars, and was also joined by the Hanbali and Hanafi judges. Whilst in prison, Ibn al-Qayyim busied himself with the Qur'an. According to Ibn Rajab, Ibn al-Qayyim made the most of his time of imprisonment. The immediate result of his delving into the Qur'an while in prison was a series of mystical experiences. Spiritual life. Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya wrote a lengthy spiritual commentary on a treatise written by the Hanbali Sufi Khwaja Abdullah Ansari entitled Madraj al-Salikin. He expressed his love and appreciation for Ansari in this commentary with his statement, "Certainly I love the Shaykh, but I love the truth more." Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya refers to Ansari with the honorific title Shaykh al-Islam in his work al-Wabil al-Sayyib min al-Kalim al-Tayyib. Ibn al-Qayyim died at the age of 60 years 5 months and 5 days on the 13th night of Rajab 751 and was buried beside his father at Bab al-Safir cemetery. Views. Jurisprudence. Like his teacher Ibn Taymiyya, Ibn Qayyim supported broad powers for the state and prosecution. He argued, for example, that it was often right to punish someone of lowly status who alleged improper behavior by someone more respectable. Ibn Qayyim formulated evidential theories that made judges less reliant than ever before on the oral testimony. One example was the establishment of a child's paternity by experts scrutinizing the faces of a child and its alleged father for similarities. Another was in determining impotence. If a woman sought to divorce on the grounds of her husband's impotence and her husband contested the claim, a judge might obtain a sample of the husband's ejaculate. According to Ibn Qayyim, only genuine semen left a white residue when boiled. In interrogating the accused, Ibn Qayyim believed that testimony could be beaten out of suspects if they were disreputable. This was in contrast to the majority of Islamic jurists who had always acknowledged that alleged sinners were entitled to remain silent if accused. Attorney and author Sadaqat Qadri states that, as a matter of straightforward history, Torture had originally been forbidden by Islamic jurisprudence. Ibn Qayyim, however, believed that the Prophet Muhammad, the rightly guided caliphs, and other companions would have supported his position. Astrology and alchemy. Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya opposed alchemy and divination of all varieties, but was particularly opposed to astrology, whose practitioners dared to think they could know secrets locked within the mystery of God's supreme and all-embracing wisdom. Quote, "In fact, those who believed that human personalities and events were influenced by heavenly bodies were the most ignorant of people, the most in error and the furthest from humanity, the most ignorant of people concerning his soul and its creator." In his Miftah al-Sada, in addition to denouncing the astrologers as worse than infidels, he uses empirical arguments to refute the practice of alchemy and astrology along with the theories associated with them, such as divination and the transmutation of metals, for example, arguing, "And if you astrologers answer that it is precisely because of this distance and smallness that their influences are negligible, then why is it that you claim a great influence for the smallest heavenly body, Mercury? Why is it that you have given an influence to Al-Raz and Al-Danab, which are two imaginary points?" Reception. Ibn Qayyim was respected by a number of scholars during and after his life. Ibn Kathir stated that Ibn al-Qayyim was the most affectionate person. He was never envious of anyone, nor did he hurt anyone. He never disgraced anyone, nor did he hate anyone. I do not know in this world in our time someone who is more dedicated to acts of devotion. Ibn Rajab, one of Ibn Qayyim's students, stated that, although he was by no means infallible, no one could compete with him in the understanding of the texts. Despite being praised by a number of Sunni scholars, he was also criticized by others. The influential Shafi'i chief judge of Damascus Taqi al-Din al-Subki condemned Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya on the acceptability of the triple divorce and on account of his view permitting the conduct of horse races without the participation of a third competitor. Subki also stated that the only thing this man wants for the commoners is to establish that there is no Muslim but him and his partisans. He also wrote a treatise entitled The Burnished Sword in refuting Ibn al-Qayyim regarding his position on the attributes of God. Ibn Hajar al-Haytami considered Ibn Qayyim a heretic and stated that, "Do not read what is in the books of Ibn al-Qayyim and others like him who have taken their own whim as the God, and who have been led astray by Allah. The hearts and ears have been sealed, and their eyes have been covered." Legacy. Works. Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya's contributions to the Islamic library are extensive, and they particularly deal with the Quranic commentaries, and understanding and analysis of the prophetic traditions. Zad al-Ma'ad. Al-Wabil Sa'ib min al-Kalim Tayyib, a commentary on Hadith about Prophet Yahya ibn Zakaria. Ilam al-Muwakki'in, and Rabbil Alamin, Tathib Sunan Abi Daud, Madarij Salikin, which is a rearrangement of the book by Sheikh Abu Ishmael al-Ansari al-Harawi al-Sufi, Manazil Yusairin, Tafsir Mu'awwadatan. Badr al-Fawaid, Amazing Points of Benefit. Adri wa Dawa, also known as al-Jawab al-Kafi liman Sala and Dawari Shafi. Hadi al-Rila Bilad al-Afra. Adat as-Sabirin wa Dakiratu ash-Shakirin. Iyadatul Afan min Masarad ash-Shaitan, aid for the yearning one in resisting the shaitan. Rawdachul Mahiban. Arkam Ahl al-Dima. Turfachul Mawlud by Arkam al-Mawlud, a gift to the loved one regarding the rulings of the newborn. Miftah as-Sada. Yala al-Afam 5 Adal Salati ala Karir al-Anam. al-Manar al-Munif, al-Tib al-Nabawi, a book on prophetic medicine, or as dealing with the medicine of the Prophet, printed by Darussalam Publications, al-Jawziyya, Shifa al-Alil, Muqtasa al-Sawa'iq, Hadi al-Awrila Bilad al-Afat, spurring souls onto the realms of joy, a treatise on Arab archery by Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya, Muhammad ibn Abu Bakr, and comes from the 14th century.